Good afternoon, y'all. This is Mr. Carpedia at the Carpedia Show on YouTube. Today I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to change the oil on your first and second generation Mazda Miata. First, what you want to do is start the car and let it warm up just for a little bit. Not too much, but you just want the oil to warm up. That would be easier for it to drain out the bottom of the oil pan. So I've already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the car off. And the next step is to properly jack up the vehicle and support it on 4 jack stands. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this for a second and jack the car up for you. That way you can see how to jack it up, making sure it's very secure before you climb under the vehicle. Do not use a jack to lift the car and change the oil, because if it slips off the jack or the hydraulic goes out, the car will fall on you. So make sure you use very secure jack stands like these right here. So I got the car properly jacked up on all 4 jack stands, and before you crawl under the vehicle, shake the car a little bit. Make sure it's nice and sturdy. Shake it at all 4 corners. The reason why I say shake it a little bit, because it's best to have it fall off the jack stands now instead of while you're under the car trying to unloosen the drain plug. So the drain plug for the oil pan is actually on the passenger side of the vehicle for a left-hand drive car, or if you're in another country, it'll be on the same side as the driver's side. Let me show you what it looks like. It is right there, basically right where the right front wheel is at. As soon as you pass the control arm, that's it right there. That's the bolt you got to go ahead and take apart. So go ahead and get your oil catch. Put it up under there. Or you can catch all the oil and take it to your local auto parts store, and they'll go ahead and recycle it for you. So I'm about to go ahead and crawl up under the car real quick and loosen up the drain plug. So make sure you're turning it to the left. Alright, once you break the bolt loose, do it by hand. The reason why I say this is you'll know exactly how hard the oil's gonna come out. You don't want to spill it everywhere. So I like to undo mine a little bit by hand and adjust the oil catch pan accordingly. Alright. And be careful, because the oil will be a little warm to hot. Like I said, you did warm it up a little bit. Alrighty. Now's a good time to check your bolt. While the oil is draining, it's best to wipe off and clean up the oil drain plug. That would be easier for you to put it back on. Also inspect it to make sure it's not rounded off. If it is rounded off, it's best to replace it now. And another 3,000 miles, I have to worry about having to take this off and it's rounded off. Hard for you to get to it. So my bolt's actually in pretty good condition. Also, make sure you have a washer too. If you don't have a washer, definitely put a washer on, because that'll keep it from draining when you push the bolt back into the oil pan, because it's an aluminum oil pan, and this just helps it seal better. Next step is to locate the oil filter. It is below the intake plenum on the passenger side, or if you have a right-hand drive vehicle, it's on the driver's side, right down and through there. I don't know if you can see it. Right down through there. So what you do is you take your hand, reach down into here, and you turn it to the left. And it's gonna be a little bit of oil in there. It's gonna make a little bit of a mess, but like I said, you got the oil pan under there to catch everything. So And as you unscrew it off, when you unscrew it off, you tilt it facing upwards like this to catch the rest of the oil that's going to come out. You see? See how there's a little bit in there and a little bit spilled? Like I said, that's alright because it got the oil catch pan up under there. So let me put this down to the side to dispose of it. You want to crawl up under here just to see if it's still draining out. And basically all of it that should have came out has come out by now. I like to clean up around the hole before I put the bolt back in. Also like to feel around it too. Make sure it's nice and smooth, there's no cracks. Last thing you want is to have a slight crack in your oil pan and it's leaking oil as you're driving down the street, giving you a real low oil level, and you end up blowing your engine. So hole is nice and clean, and I like to go ahead and grab the bolt, and I like to thread it in by hand. Make sure you put the washer back on. And reach back under here. And screw it in by hand. And turn to the right. Like I said, righty tighty, lefty loosey. And then take your socket, and turn it. Don't turn it too hard, because like I said, it's an aluminum pan, so don't go all Incredible Hulk on this aluminum. And there you go, nice and snug. And you can feel around. Like I said, it's nice and snug. Alrighty. Now, step to go to next is to install the oil filter. I use the Mazda brand oil filters. You can use whatever brand you want. They work pretty good for me. A lot of the racers too, a lot of autocrossers, spec me out of guys, they use the same type of oil filter. So, and what you want to do is, before you install the oil filter, you want to put a dab of oil in there. So what you do is, you just put a little bit of oil in there. You don't want the oil filter to be installed with no oil. But don't put too much, because then you have to worry about spilling everywhere. Just put a little bit of oil in there. Oh, I put a little bit too much. Okay, yeah, it went back down. And then you want to put a little bit of oil on your finger, and you want to put a little bit of oil around this rubber seal right here. Just a little bit. Then clean your fingers off. And you take the oil filter and you reach back down into that hole. I know it's hard, especially if you got big hands like me, but you'll see the screw part. You put it Camera down in there. See that little screw part right there? Try to get the camera down under there for you. And gently turn it to the right, and then it'll turn on its thread. And once it gets snug, just go like a quarter turn. Do not tighten this too tight. Never tighten the oil filter too tight. Now your next step is take the oil cap off. And grab your oil and pour it in without spilling. And you can use a funnel if it makes it easier for you. Alrighty. Now crawl up under the car. Before you start putting a whole bunch of quarts of oil in there, check your oil drain plug again. Like I said, you cleaned it off, so you'll see if there's any oil leaking. And make sure you do this check before you start putting a whole bunch of quarts of oil in your car and then realize your oil drain plug isn't on securely. Now, you go ahead and pour quart number 2 in. Come back down and check once again. Make sure you don't have no leakage. And then put quart number 3 in. Three quarts of oil in. We're about to bring the car back down so you get an accurate reading of the oil level. Get the car back down off the jack stand. Now's a good time to check the oil level. You gotta add a little bit more oil. Now install the oil cap. and go ahead and start the car up. Make sure the emergency brake up. Alright. Now if the car running, you want to check around. Check back down by that oil filter. Make sure you don't have no oil spraying or anything like that. Then go for a drive for about 5-10 minutes. You know, get the car warmed up, and then come back and check the oil level, and that should be it. You should be good to go. Then after you come back for your drive, everything's all warmed up, you go ahead and you check the oil level one more time. You see that? Perfect oil level. And there you go. That's it. And that is how you change the oil on your first and second generation Mazda Miata. I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil capacity levels for all both generations engines, the 1.6, the 1.8, the BP4W that came in the second generation, as well as the VVTi motor. So I'm gonna put all those oil capacities in the description. Like I said, this is Mr. Carpedia, the Carpedia Show. Logging off. Thanks for checking in. If you liked the video, go ahead and subscribe if you want to see some more videos.